From a very young age, I loved reading fiction, popular science, etc. I like researching nihilism and like taking random personality tests. Most inspired by the works of Erwin Schrödinger. He was the great quantum physicist who won the Nobel Prize in Physics for his Schrödinger equation. And
tell us about your journey into becoming a senior physics editor for the Young Scientist Journal. So, that's my very first question. So,
yeah, so it all started when I was like playing around with some equations in physics, in quantum physics, and I came up with something original. But I was wondering if there was any journal that would publish the research of a young student, like with no qualifications. But luckily, I found the Young Scientist Journal. It was a registered journal that publishes the research of students. And the journal has an amazing peer review system and an amazing reach as well. So soon my articles were accepted and published, and soon people were contacting me about my research. And for the first time in my life, I had like someone qualified to discuss my ideas with. So it was a very great opportunity, very great experience. Then when I learned that the Young Scientist Journal team was run by students, it was run by students and it was for students also. So then I thought that maybe I could join them. It was a very good opportunity. So then I joined them as an outreach member initially, because initially there was no vacancy in the editorial team. Then I shifted to the editorial team as a junior editor and was later appointed as senior physics editor. So I have to review the articles that are submitted to the YSJ, and we actually receive a lot of submissions. So it is a very time-consuming work, but nevertheless we enjoy it very much. The editors get to learn so much new stuff and so many new perspectives. Most of these articles are of a pretty high standard, considering they are written by high school or undergraduate students. I mean, at least there is a legit place for these students to get their research published and get so many readers to read their research from around the world. As a senior editor, I not only review articles but do plagiarism checks, final checks, and coordinate the junior editors. Now, considering I want to pursue career in research, this experience would be invaluable to me, and I consider it a privilege to be part of such a wonderful team of young and motivated students.
pretty cool. I mean, I'm glad to see the fact that there are many other associations which are children run. And which is actually required for this world of technology, especially
exactly.
where the youth have the power to like bring in a difference. So I mean, pretty cool journey, and I wish the best for you to do more. And with that, let's move on to the next question. With that, I'd move to my next question. So talk about the Young Physicists Journal. What is that all about? And tell us a brief about it.
So the Journal of Young Physicists is a non-profit physics blog I founded. So anyone can submit articles on physics for review and publication. So I always felt that young students interested in physics should have a platform to express their ideas, like not only to publish original research, but just to play with the concepts, explain the topics in their own unique way. So I founded this organization primarily for this reason. We review the articles that are submitted to us, and if the article passes the review, we publish it. So the Journal of Young Physicists' primary objective is to communicate physics to a broad audience in a fun and engaging manner. We also maintain a page on our website where we post our handpicked physics news from around the world. This is for the more mathematically inclined readers, like for those who want to get more involved in the research. And if you just want to read some fun physics articles in your free time, then you can just check out our blog posts, and you can even consider submitting physics articles to us. Our website is at journalofyoungphysicists.org.
Pretty cool. So anybody who is actually really into physics, or if you do love this particular subject, please do check it out, the website itself. And for those who actually are curious to read about them, please do check them out as well. I'm pretty sure that it's going to be amazing and useful for you to learn a lot. And also I'm happy that the youth can actually help the other children by explaining and exposing their ideas. The main reason I built like a major team is where we can all share our ideas together and bring out the best towards it. So I'm glad that there are many other people who are actually taking that step where it could be a creative truck, if I can have to say in my words. So great opportunity which you're providing to others through an online platform. So I
Yeah.
appreciate you for that from the side of the first step, and
Thank
thanks
you.
for doing it. Right? And also, when I was reading about you, I got to know that writing happens to be another one of your passions. So, what do you actually like to write on? Like, which journals, and get what prompted you to get into writing? So, yeah, over to you.
Yeah, so from a very young age, I loved reading fiction, popular science, etc. Now I started writing poetry and short stories initially. Initially, I was not into science writing, but then I have always dreamt of writing a book on science, like a popular science book. My interest in physics mainly sparked from reading popular science books, and these books can really be a great inspiration. And I loved reading them. Like they are not as demanding as textbooks, but still interesting and not outdated. They can give you a taste of what research means, like what real research means in today's world. They can tell you if it is your cup of tea. So as I grew up, I started writing general notes on quantum mechanics. Like that's one of my main interests in physics. Then I thought of converting this collection of notes into a book. But there is no particular shortage of quantum mechanics textbooks in the market. So I decided to write about the journey of physics from Newton's days to today, like a story. And with metaphysical discussions on consciousness, the fundamental nature of reality, some philosophy. This is in fact my first serious book, Our Physics So Far, which I published a few months ago and is now available for purchase internationally. So that's what I like to write about, physics and math and metaphysics. Metaphysics is among my latest obsessions. In fact, I'm currently working on a fundamental model of reality and consciousness. It is, I must admit, not entirely scientific and purely metaphysical. And while I agree that metaphysics may be useless after all, thinking about the big questions from a metaphysics perspective, it's always very satisfying to me. Now, in fact, I'm working on my second book, which will be purely metaphysical. And I also like to write short stories and poetry, but just a bit. I'm not very good at fiction and poetry. Now I'm mainly into science writing.
Cool. Again, I mean, this just is like any other story of an author. And now comes like the major question. What really prompted you to get into like this major subject, physics? What made you love it? What made you show your talent in it? So, and yeah, you can include maths in as well, because as you mentioned, both physics and maths are your obsessions. So, yeah, over to you.
Yeah, so actually, the thing is that I was not interested in physics from the very beginning. Like the first career which is seriously considered was neuroscience. So at that point of time, I used to hate physics and math, and I didn't particularly like biology also. I used to hate science in general. But I was always bewildered by the mystery of consciousness. Like as Schrodinger says in his book Mind and Matter, so our science simply describes the world from a third person perspective. The most crucial and fundamental part, consciousness, has so far remained extremely complex. But where does the consciousness emerge from? In fact, we mostly spend our time unconsciously. And evolution has provided us with the tools to live along without conscious intervention, except if something out of the ordinary happens. And the environment and circumstances, which are ultimately outside our control, play as important a role as genetics in defining who we are. So I was deeply interested in these ideas in evolutionary biology, neuroscience. But then I decided it would be a better idea to pursue the problem of consciousness from a physics perspective. So this change came about mainly by reading the book The Future of the Mind by Michio Kaku. So this may not seem obvious at first glance, but physics and chaos theory can indeed help explain consciousness. We don't know if this explanation would be the correct one, but it is definitely worth a try. And it would, I thought, be a better job for me than researching neurological disorders and carrying out brain surgeries. So that's how I slowly became interested in physics and then soon mathematics also. So then I learned quantum mechanics, chaos theory, and I also began studying a bit of intuitive math, abstract math, like not the stuff you do at high school. From then on to this day, I have continued research moments about consciousness that can make your head reel and can render me a lunatic. So I don't want to share that right now. But I just want to say that although I have turned from neuroscience to physics, I have remained loyal to my ultimate goal, to research consciousness. And if you think consciousness and physics are distant and unrelated, I would ask you to think again.
Yeah, I mean, that's really insightful to hear. Because with that, let's move on. So this is actually a question out of curiosity. Like, how do you usually manage time? I hope this is like the most questions you get asked for. Like one common question which every young achiever, in my point of view, gets asked for, right? So if you can answer that, being in 12th grade, that too, you'll have to manage both boards and you know uh, your current projects which you're working on. And apart
Yeah,
from
yeah.
that, you want some relaxation, so you don't want to like miss your childhood, probably play, go out, spend time with your friends and family and stuff. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
how do you manage time in general?
So actually, I'm not very good at managing time, to be frank. So I just, I just do things spontaneously. Like when I study for a long time, and then when I don't study, then I engage in other things for a long time. So it's all pretty disorganized. So I don't manage time. I don't plan very much ahead of time. But that's about it. But in the end, I manage it pretty much. In the end, somehow I manage it. Like I used to procrastinate a lot. But before the day of the exam, I study whole night and like that.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure I'm a night owl, so I can relate to whatever you said.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I too did pretty much suck at time management because I actually didn't know to manage my very own works. But I guess time teaches you again. So
Yeah.
another question which I wanted to point out is like, what are the other adventures and stuff which you're into currently? What are the other projects which you're working on? So yeah,
So
over to you.
yeah, so other than physics, I would like to say like I'm mainly into music. Now I have an official artist channel on YouTube, Arpan Amplified, and to date I have released 10 original songs and an album. So I tripped in the world of music like quite suddenly, and it all happened spontaneously. Like from my childhood, I always had a Marshmallow and Imagine Dragons. So it all started when I tried converting my previously written poems, and luckily I met some really talented people. So I wrote the songs, the producers produced the music, and sometimes I produce the music as well, but I'm more of a songwriter than a music producer. And the vocalist sang the lyrics. Now my debut album is Unsettled Bliss, which is named after my song Unsettled Bliss. So it's a dark song about anxiety, depression, and mental health problems. So I myself have suffered from these problems, and I can very much relate with it. And so most of my other songs are dark as well, like One More Chance, Greatness, It Was Not Real, and these things. So basically, that's about it. Like other than physics and music, I'm not into anything else pretty much. Not much.
I mean, like, I love music. Like, I'm very much attracted to music because
Yeah,
I feel like it can relate to your emotions, whether it's happiness, whether it's sadness, whether
exactly.
if you're crazy, whether if you're about to cry, even when you're actually very much emotional, it can relate, right?
Exactly.
So even a cheerful song can uh, be a sad song in the end and as well. So it all depends on your mind on how you take it. And
Yeah.
I love music, like it's, if you actually ask my friends or my whole family, I'm always with my headphones. So that's how much I am so attracted to it. So I'm glad to know that you're a singer, and that too, writing about emotional in your own feelings. That's like my favorite interest, if I can say. Yeah, all the best for your career.
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
with that, few more other questions. What are your other hobbies? What do you like usually do in your free time? And yeah, apart from that, like what do you actually doing? Because I know that boys have a favorite partiality towards cricket. They love cricket, something like that, something which
No, no,
you
I actually don't like
generally.
cricket.
Okay, unique.
Yeah, so I actually like sort of don't like cricket. I'm more attracted towards football.
Okay, I mean the other side. A coin has two sides, of course. Football and cricket are two main, like things which you can closely notice. Uh, Ronaldo or Messi. I mean, I love Ronaldo, but Messi is another person whom I love. So yeah, yeah. Let me know like what are your other hobbies and stuff.
Yeah, so I like my other hobbies include like I make educational videos for my YouTube channel. So and I watch wildlife videos on YouTube. I'm very much obsessed with lions and tigers, and I like researching nihilism and like taking random personality tests online, and this thing pretty much that's it.
Right. So this is something called like a personality test. So I mean, it's something where like I read about it in some magazine. So people who usually like wild animals might really be interested in writing and spreading out positivity, and they would really be attracted into spreading their emotions and stuff. So I can relate to those. I mean, like, you
Yeah.
are a better example for that. And yeah, pretty amazing. Like, it's a great hobby though. I pretty much appreciate that. And also, yeah, who's your inspiration? Whom do you like look up to and feel like that's a true inspiration? I want to become like them tomorrow.
In science, I am perhaps most inspired by the works of Erwin Schrödinger. He was the great quantum physicist who won the Nobel Prize in Physics for his Schrödinger equation, and who also wrote such an amazing book on biology from a physics perspective. What is life? So I like Schrödinger mainly because Schrödinger, he was a physicist, but he also explored biology and he also explored like interdisciplinary sciences. And he not only confined himself to physics, he also explored philosophy and these things. Like his interests very much match with mine. And in music, my inspiration is of course Alan Walker. And above all, in life, I'm very much inspired by my father, who has always taught me honesty and guided me in all my endeavors, and as a great parent and philosopher. And my mother, who has always supported me always and my relatives and friends. And I'm no less inspired by my amazing teachers who have also supported me always and my relatives and friends.
Amazing. And yeah, way more to go. And I hope you to become an inspiration for many other children who are watching this video, because I mean, you've got so much talent in you. But I promise that. And also, one last question, and we got to sign off for today. If
Yeah.
there is something you want to change in the society, what would that be?
So there are many things that need to be changed in today's world, and the world today is not as it should be. Like that is the theme behind my album Unsettled Place. But if I could change just one thing about the world, it would be poverty. Like so many talented young people in India, they cannot pursue a proper education due to poverty. They're forced to live the life they never wanted to live, and there is like no one they can confide their sufferings in. It's just too unfair. And of course, I'm not an economist and I can do nothing about it. But I would want to see poverty eradicated from the world if that is the last thing I do. So my father's field of study is economics, and we occasionally discuss issues like poverty, but that's about it. Like to be honest, I feel somewhat ashamed of myself that I'm sitting here pondering consciousness and physics in the comfort of my home, while there are so many people out there without a home and even without food.
Definitely. So, I mean, I'm not sure if you actually know, I'm working on few SDG goals right now, trying to spread awareness about it. So, quality education, no hunger, no poverty, and gender inequality are the four main SDGs which I'm working on. Sustainable Development Goals, which are approved by the UN, if you're aware about it.
That's so
So,
encouraging to hear.
thank you so much. So, and it was very pleasing talking with you, Arpan. Thank you for your time, for being
Yeah,
here.
thank you.
I learned a lot today, especially like I've seen quantum physics in Marvel movies. I've seen physics as like a very boring subject, but after getting to know what you have understood about physics, let's not only take in physics, but you are being an inspiration for me to today to look out at a particular subject up close to it. And you can never judge a subject by its cover. I mean, you can never judge a book by its cover, it's true.
Yeah, definitely.
Just you find it boring, just don't ignore it. Probably get to know till the core, and you might find it interesting. Public
Yeah,
speaking is similar, right?
yeah,
It's
yeah,
not really pleasing to listen to people, but if you actually take it as an interest, you would love it. So I
yeah.
mean, I can relate to it also, have you as an inspiration to keep moving on from in here, to have physics as probably like an interesting subject from now on. So yeah, thank you so much. And for the viewers, if you did like the conversation, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and comment down below um, about your favorite question from this interview. Turn on the bell icon to get further updates from the first step. Also, follow our blog page, follow our Instagram, and follow our LinkedIn. Thank you so much. Stay safe. Tara bye bye. With that, signing off, it's Arpan here and Hasini. I'll see you next week. Tara bye bye. Hey everybody, welcome or welcome back to the channel. It's me, hasinilakshminarayanan here, founder of The First Step. This is a platform where I interview young achievers And now, just to give a short introduction about me, if in case you didn't know about me, I'm Hasini, a 13-year-old social activist studying in Chitna Vidyashram in Chennai, Tamil Nadu, India. I'm the founder of The First Step, a non-profit organization where we basically aim to inspire, motivate, and empower children. I'm a TED speaker and also a freelance writer for Hindu School Edition. Now, I want to talk about our supporters, the CIT, Chennai Institute of Technologies, which happens to be the number 2 engineering college in Chennai, Tamil Nadu, India. And with that note, let's welcome our guest for the day with all pleasure. Especially me being an eighth grader, I've seen quantum physics in Marvel movies. I've seen physics as like a very boring subject. It's probably like my least favorite subject in the curriculum because CBSE curriculums, especially physics, is just being like a major subject, right? So and also that a lot of people doesn't really pay attention or interest to it, but we have Arpan here today who took physics as a passion, who started developing his mindset into what he's being now. So let me give him like a formal introduction as like usual. He is a senior physics editor for the Scientist Journal. Also, he's a young member for the New York Academy of Sciences. Also, he's the founder of the Young Physicists, and he's a singer as well, and also he's a multi-talented person. This what is making me curious to have a conversation with him. And without further delay, let's welcome our guest for the day. Hello, Arpan. Hi, hope
Hi.
you're doing good.
Hi.
Thanks for accepting our invitation. And with that, let's move on into the interview.
Yeah.